In this video, we're going to discuss adding fractions with unlike denominators. In the previous video, one of the denominators was a factor of the other. So in that case, the denominator with the largest whole number is the denominator that is the common denominator. In this case, the denominators are not factors of each other. So in order to find the common denominator, students need to find the least common multiple of the denominators, and that will be the common denominator. So for example, 1/2 plus 1/3. The multiples of 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. The multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. The smallest number, the smallest multiple they have in common is 6. So 6 is going to be the common denominator. So if 6 is the common denominator, we have to multiply 2 times 3 to get 6. So therefore, we're going to multiply the numerator 1 times 3 and get the new numerator 3/6. We can easily see that 1/2 is equivalent to 3/6. Next, we're going to multiply 3 times 2 to get 6. And since we multiplied the denominator by 2, we multiply the numerator by 2, which is 2. So now we have fractions with common denominators. We add the numerators. 3 plus 2 is 5, so the sum of 1/2 plus 1/3, 5/6. Again, I think you can see there are a lot of steps there, a lot of places that students could make mistakes. So let's try to explain and understand this procedure with a visual model. So here I have 1/3, or sorry, 1/2 plus 1/3. So again, I cannot put them together because they are not the same. So I need to guess and check, try and see if there is something that is a part for 1/2 that is also a part for 1/3. For example, 1/4 is a part for 1/2, but it's not a part for 1/3, so that would not work. But I can see 3/6 is equivalent to 1/2, and I can see 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. So now all of the original numbers, 1/2 and 1/3, are both equivalent to 6. So I can put those together, and that's how I can see that 1/2 plus 1/3, the sum is 5/6. Now with this same problem, if you were working with mixed numbers, you would add the fractions, just like in the example that we just worked above, and then you would add the whole numbers. One other example I want to share of adding fractions with unlike denominators. Again, multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 4, 8, 12, and so on. The least common multiple they have is 12, so therefore 12 is the common denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. What you do to the denominator, you need to do to the numerator. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. So we have a denominator now, a common one, which is 12. Add the numerators. 8 plus 9 is 17. So our sum is 17/12. But again, there are a lot of steps there, a lot of places that students could make some errors. So let's model this addition problem with fraction pieces. 2/3 plus 3/4. Again, I need to guess and check and try to find the fraction that is equivalent, that can fit into thirds and fourths, which in this case happens to be twelfths. I can shortly see that 4/12 is equivalent to 1/3. Another 4/12 is equivalent to another 1/3. But when it comes to fourths, I can see that 3/12 is equivalent to 1/4. Another 3/12 is equivalent to another 1/4. And finally, 3 more 12ths equivalent to that last fourths. I can add all these 12ths up because they're common now, and I see that I have 17 12ths. That's not a very easy number to understand or work with. So let's simplify. The first thing I notice about simplifying this fraction is that 12/12 is equivalent to 1. So my sum is 1 plus the 7/12, or the 5/12 rather, that are left over. So the sum of 17/12 is 1 and 5/12.